Dakar. Promoting dialogue. It's 6 p.m. in Dakar, 7 o'clock in Lagos. Good evening and welcome to Newslink on West Africa. Democracy Radio broadcasting all the way from Dakar, Senegal on 94.9 FM and online at wadr.org. Here are the top stories. Massive flooding leaves over 3,000 people displaced in Senegal's Bakel region. Health workers at Liberia's ELWA hospital protest low wages and alleged financial mismanagement. 2 civilians still missing following jihadist attack in Mali, and Ghana's President John Mahama rules out immediate declaration of state of emergency in Galamsey fight.
State of emergency. Yes, I have the power to do it, but the president acts on the advice of the National Security Council. And as at now, this moment, the National Security Council believes that we can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency.
Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Augustine Colley with Newslink.
We are glad you have joined our broadcast this evening. We begin in Senegal, where more than 3,825 people have been displaced as the flooding along the Senegal River continues to cause widespread damage in the Bakel department east of the country. The flooding is the result of heavy rainfall in the upper Senegal River basin, particularly near the Bafin Makana and Gubasi stations, combined with controlled water releases from the Mantali Dam. These factors have led to the significant rise in the water levels, causing the river to overflow in several areas. In response, the state authorities say they have developed alternative measures to the emergency teams to assist affected communities. Sankule Janko tells us more.
In the Bakel department, severe flooding has impacted homes, farms, public buildings, places of worship, and many roads, rendering several key communication routes impassable. According to an official press statement issued on Monday by the authorities, the situation is particularly critical in the district of Moderi, especially in the localities of Balu, Arondo, Yafera, Golmi, Kongani, and Jawara. Initial assessments by the state's decentralized services report that approximately 220 families representing a total of 3,825 people have been affected. Among them, 178 families have been displaced, with 27 currently being housed in local schools. The Ministry of Hydraulics and Sanitation has announced a series of urgent measures to monitor the situation and coordinate state response efforts. These include the establishment of an open-air warehouse near the riverbank to facilitate the reception and distribution of aid to victims, the temporary relocation of families into schools that have not been affected by flooding, and the distribution of 1,000 sandbags to village chiefs for the construction of protective dikes. Additional measures are planned to support affected populations in other areas along the Senegal River Valley, including the departments of Matam, Kanel, and Podor, among others.
Sankule Janko fight that report. Still in Senegal, a former Minister of Youth, Pav Malindour, was questioned this afternoon at the Koloban Investigation Unit. His summons is linked to a deadly political protests that took place between 2021 and 2024 following a complaint filed by Pape Abdoulaye Touré, an alleged victim of torture who claims Ndour played a role in the abuse. In a statement issued on Sunday, Ndour, a close ally of former President Macky Sall, firmly denied any involvement in the case. He was intercepted by police at Blaise Diagne International Airport last Saturday and has since been placed under a travel ban. Nevertheless, he has expressed his willingness to cooperate with authorities and prove his innocence in court. Let's focus our attention to the Central Sahel region, precisely in Mali, where 2 civilians remain missing following their adoption by suspected jihadists on Sunday. The incident occurred along the Ségou-Bamako route, an area increasingly affected by insecurity. This latest development comes amid a worsening security situation in the country, compounded by a fuel embargo that is severely disrupting access and mobility in several regions. Imo Edit reports.
This operation was carried out by presumed jihadists on Sunday, approximately 40 kilometers from Bamako, along the road leading to Senegal. During the incident, 4 civilians were kidnapped. 2 were released a few hours later, while the other 2 remain missing. According to a preliminary verification process, the missing individuals did not appear on any official list of persons under surveillance, and several had to access towns in the region. An embargo on fuel imposed by armed groups has made civilian transportation increasingly difficult. However, negotiations are reportedly underway between the authorities and the jihadists to lift the embargo. Sources indicate that several officials have met with representatives of the Katiba Masina, a group affiliated with Al-Qaeda, regarding the situation. As a precondition for a truce, the jihadis are demanding a formal request from the Malian junta. These developments come shortly after the killing of Abdul Jalil Mansour Haidara, a former deputy who died on Thursday in an attack along the Segu-Bamako route. Just a day later on Friday, Siaka Dembele, president of the Segu Regional Council, was arrested along with his driver.
Imo Edit reporting there.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Crossing over to Benin, where a new attack on a police station near the border with Nigeria has left several people dead. This latest assault comes less than a month after another police station was targeted. Nadedetete reports.
According to security sources, the police station in the locality of Segbana near the Nigerian border was attacked by armed men during the night from Saturday to Sunday. An initial report indicates that 3 police officers were killed while a 4th remains missing. The swift response by the Republican police led to the neutralization of several assailants, though no specific number has yet been given. A commando unit deployed immediately after the attack to comb the area also managed to capture one of the attackers. An investigation has been opened to determine the full circumstances surrounding the incident. This attack comes less than a month after the assault on the Kalale police station on September 10, which did not result in any police casualties. A security source believes the incident is more likely the work of armed bandits than terrorists. The Beninese government has not yet issued an official statement on this latest attack, which has not been claimed by any group. In recent months, police stations across Benin have increasingly become prime targets of armed groups.
With that report. Meanwhile, with just months before the April 2026 presidential election in Benin, the 2 ruling parties, the Republican Bloc and the Progressive Union for Renewal, officially endorsed Wadr Wadani as the designated successor of President Patrice Talon. The ceremony, which took place over the weekend in Parakou, northern Benin, also saw the presentation of his running mate and current Vice President, Marian Chabi Talata. The endorsement event turned into a massive campaign-style rally marked by a vibrant atmosphere and carefully choreographed moments. Abdullahi Hassan has the details.
In Benin, the ruling coalition has officially endorsed Wadr Wadani, Minister of State for Economy and Finance, and Mariam Chabi Talata, the sitting vice president, as its candidate for the April 2026 presidential election. The announcement was made over the weekend in Parakou, marking a major political moment as Benin continues to project itself as a pillar of stability in West Africa. In his speech, Wadr Wadani stressed that national unity remains the foundation for the country's development.
Je suis ici pour partager avec vous.
I am here to share 2 strong convictions. First, the vision remains clear, and the challenges we will face in the coming years are well known. The path forward is set, and the most difficult stages have already been overcome over the past 9 years. Second, in an unstable world and in a region of crisis, our greatest strength lies in our national unity.
C'est notre unité nationale.
The leader of the Progressive Union for Renewal, Joseph Jogbenu, who had been seen as a potential contender, expressed full support for Wadani's candidacy. He said the choice had been warmly received and called on members to stay united and focused on victory, insisting that Benin's progress must come first. Wadani, on his part, said the youth were the country's greatest strength and future, adding that his goal was to turn their energy into opportunities and success that bring dignity and prosperity. Presenting himself as a candidate for all Beninese, he pledged to serve with integrity, courage, and consistency. Meanwhile, the opposition Democrats Party, led by former President Thomas Boniai, is yet to announce its candidate. According to the party's spokesperson, Guy Mitokpe, the name will be revealed within a week, though he described the ruling party's endorsement event as insignificant.
Abdullahi Hassan with the details of Aziz Adam Sulet's report from Cotonou. We turn our attention to Guinea, where the civil society organizations have expressed optimism of a successful transition to democratic rule following the massive yes vote in the just concluded referendum, which has set the mood for an upcoming election in December. Recall last week, during the country's 67th independence anniversary celebration, transitional President General Mamadi Doumbouya delivered a nationally broadcast address highlighting his administration's economic reforms, infrastructure investments, and what he calls a new dynamic for Guinea's future. Speaking to WADR, Dr. Ali Bari, Wadimos Network co-chair, noted that with the long-awaited election date officially set, anxiety is equally growing by the day.
As political parties, as Guineans, civil society organizations are also divided. Some civil society organizations that are supporting the military junta or the military role. You have some civil society organizations that are working against, and you have some civil society organizations that are neutral. But overall, civil society, we can say that civil society organizations remain worried about transparency, inclusivity, and protection of fundamental rights during the transition. But we are also very proud, seeing our country that working towards, restoring democracy. There are 4 countries in transition in the sub-region. And Guinea, I feel Guinea is an exception, as we have already had our referendum, and we have also a new date for the presidential election. Yes. So that's very important for us. We need to, restore democracy here. And we, as civil society organizations, our fight is fighting against democracy backsliding in the region. So it's important to see among the 4 countries, one that is trying to restore democracy.
Dr. Ali Bari is Wadimos Network co-chair. Details of his statements will come your way in the later part of this newscast. Let's cross over to Ghana, where President John Mahama has ruled out calls for an immediate state of emergency to tackle illegal mining. He disclosed the National Security Council insists that the fight against Galamsey can be won without aid. His remarks stems from heightening pressure from the Catholic Bishops' Conference, environmental CSOs, and the largest opposition New Patriotic Party as last resort in addressing the decades-old cancer. But addressing civil society organizations at the presidency during a high-level dialogue in the matter, President Mahama explained that while the Constitution empowers him to declare a state of emergency, such a move can only be made on the advice of the National Security Council, which currently believes existing measures are sufficient.
State of emergency. Yes, I have the power to do it. But the president acts on the advice of the National Security Council. And as at now, this moment, the National Security Council believes that we can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency. I want to assure you that the day they advise me otherwise, that, boss, now we need a state of emergency, I will not hesitate in declaring a state of emergency. But we do still think that we have the powers to be able to win this fight. And as we deploy more troops and we apply more resources to the fight, I'm sure that gradually we'll begin to see that we're winning the fight. So like I said, this is not going to be a one-stop dialogue. We're going to continue to update you. We need your support. We need your criticism. We need your advocacy. We need your pressure.
Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama. You are listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Massive flooding leaves over 3,000 people displaced in Senegal's Bakel region. 2 civilians still missing following jihadist attack in Mali. Ghana's President John Mahama rules out immediate declaration of state of emergency in Galamsey fight. Still ahead in the news, health workers at Liberia's ELWA hospital protest low wages and alleged financial mismanagement. We also have guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
We are streaming live on YouTube at WADR and on Facebook, WADR English Service. Let's take you to Nigeria before Liberia, where discussions about a possible political comeback by former President Goodluck Jonathan is stirring lively debates across the country. As the 2027 general elections draw closer, speculation about his potential return to the presidential race has sparked mixed reactions among citizens, political observers, and the party loyalists. While some view Jonathan as a unifying figure who could bring stability to a deeply polarized nation, others question whether his return will represent progress or a step backward for Nigeria's democracy. Let's take a listen.
I really do not see a good chance of former President Goodluck Jonathan standing for the next election. President Jonathan, most especially based on the party, the PDP, which is already a party that is in disarray. They are not organized. So the chances are very slim. So I would even advise President Jonathan to just remain a statesman because he has already earned a name. He has earned his reputation. So I wouldn't want him to smear his reputation by coming out to contest.
Yes, Goodluck Jonathan has some chances. I think he has it. He should be able to win if he is able to play his cards as dirty as the others will. Then he should be able to take power. But if he is not willing to go dirty and bloody like the others, he should just forget about it.
I think President Goodluck Jonathan, he stands a chance of winning because people would look at his past record and say, yes, he did well. So if he comes back, he would do better. From my own point of view, I would advise that he doesn't come up. If not, if he does, the people that spoiled his tenure before will do more than what they did before.
Honestly speaking, former President Goodluck Jonathan, I think he doesn't really stand a chance to defeat Bola Tinubu. So because one, if you look at which political platform is he going to run on? So I think it's really a dicey one, unless Jonathan wants to contest under a new platform. And I don't think he still has those political soldiers or those guys that were with him before.
Nigerian citizens discussing a possible political comeback by former President Goodluck Jonathan. Away from Nigeria, the ELWA hospital in Liberia, a key healthcare provider in the country, is facing a major crisis as healthcare workers launched a strike early Monday, effectively bringing operations to a halt. The strike involves a broad coalition of hospital personnel, including physician assistants, nurses, laboratory technicians, pharmacists, cleaners, supporting staff, and contractors. United in protest, they are demanding immediate wage increases and a full investigation into alleged financial mismanagement. According to a petition delivered by the chairman of the aggrieved workers, Boyman Dugba, there are serious concerns about the handling of resources provided by international donors, raising questions about the transparency and accountability within the hospital's administration. Here is Boyman Dugba reading the petition.
We, the suffering masses as ERWA hospital workers petition SRN Liberia and SRM International. On the historic day, October 6, 2025, not in violence, but in peaceful defiance of the injustice, low salary, unnecessary redundancies of staff, misuse of donor funds, high-level salary discrepancy, and the plan of SRN Liberia to narrow down a 125-bed state hospital, which is providing services to approximately 200 Liberians on a daily basis. We raise because our backs are against the wall. Our institution, the ERWA hospital, is broken. The hospital lives on past glory. The director and SRN Liberia have the sole responsibility to make final decisions on critical issues arising at the hospital. A responsibility which the board and SRN Liberia have woefully neglected. Since 1 year ago, we've been making all necessary efforts to resolve some major issues affecting the life of staff negatively with the management SRN Liberia at the hospital. The management SRN Liberia has paid deaf ears to our cry. The suffering of the people has reached unbearable level. The hospital is bleeding. The stone pillars of disturbances grow deeper day by day. We cannot no longer remain silent while our rights are backed down, our future story, and our hospital going down the drain.
Boyman Dugba is chairman of the aggrieved health workers at ELWA Hospital in Liberia.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
Let's head back to Guinea, where our guest, Dr. Aliyu Bari, Wadimot's network co-chair, has been speaking about the forthcoming presidential election and the optimism expressed by stakeholders following the massive yes vote in the just concluded referendum. The stage has been set for an election which will usher in a new democratic dispensation in Guinea.
As political parties, as Guineans, civil society organizations are also divided. Some civil society organizations that are supporting, the military junta or the military role. You have some civil society organizations that are working against, and you have some civil society organizations that are neutral. But overall, civil society, we can say that civil society organizations remain worried about transparency, inclusivity, and protection of fundamental rights during the transition. But we are also very proud, seeing our country that working towards, restoring democracy. There are 4 countries in transition in the sub-region. Yeah. And Guinea, I feel Guinea is an exception, as we have already had our referendum, and we have also a new, a date for the presidential election. Yes. So that's very important for us. We need to, restore democracy here, and we, as civil society organizations, our fight is working towards fighting against democracy backsliding in the region. So it's important to see among the 4 countries, one that is trying to restore democracy.
With the mix or division you talked about, what are some of the concerns citizens and observers like yourself still have about the pace of the transition to civilian rule?
While we are, I'm talking about Guineans in general, while we are very, very happy to see that the military junta is working towards restoring democracy, in general, worries remain about the concentration of power within the military, and for the presidential elections, we are also worried a little bit. We need to see election that is very inclusive, with all political leaders competing maybe against the military junta or the president of the transition, the president of the republic. That's our concern at this time, But in general, we are also very happy to see that our country is now working to be like an exception among the 4 countries that are in transition. When we talk about ordinary Guineans, it's not easy for us. We can say there are uncertainties. Uncertainties continue to fuel skepticism. But the problem of Guinea is not only elections, and not only democracy, but the problem of Guinea is governance, delivery. We have had, for instance, our former president who was elected with a very good election. President Alpha Condé. But the problem with Alpha Condé was the governance.
Dr. Aliyu Bari is Wadima's network co-chair. Now, in the world of sports, Lagos, Nigeria has become the first African city to host the E1 Electric Powerboat Championship, with the Victoria Island Lagoon setting the stage for the high-speed, eco-friendly races. The Stade stood at Lagos GP featured celebrity-backed teams from global icons like Rafael Nadal, Tom Brady and LeBron James, showcasing cutting-edge raised birds and promoting clean energy innovation. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu flagged off the event, marking a major milestone in both African motorsport and sustainability.
We're using this as a means to also explore, the blue economy, the economy on water, and to be able to use sports on the water as a means in which we need to let us be aware of the potentials of what we have on water, but we're also doing all of this in a sustainable manner, in a manner in which innovation is at play, in a manner in which creativity comes to bear, in a manner in which tourism is also leaded.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu is the governor of Lagos State in Nigeria. We've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening. And many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Maudo Ju for the technical support. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X, Instagram at WADR English, and on Facebook, WADR English Service. I am Augustine Curley. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, Newmi FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Baf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your opinion.